Well, it's a pleasure to be here again for the second time today. For starters, I would say that trust is hard to earn and easy to lose, especially when it's stored on blockchain, right? So we're going to be talking about trust and maintaining the trust in these kinds of circumstances. How can we achieve trust and credibility to be trusted by both institutions and the public? And I'm looking forward to our next 30 minutes talking about, especially about this issue. We'll start from the end, from Anina. Anina, regulators are often seen as either enablers or gatekeepers of innovation. So what do you, as regulators, need to prioritize in order to build trust in tokenized markets?
I would just have to say one little disclaimer before we begin. I actually joined the dark side. I'm no longer at the SEC from the Serbian Commission. Now, I'm colleagues with Miroljub on the Belgrade Stock Exchange on the World Bank project as a strategic advisor.
Okay.
So we're currently trying to bridge something between the regular capital markets and the digital assets area. But of course, I will always be a regulator in my soul. So let me go back to your question. What do we need to build the trust in tokenization?
Yes.
Okay, we all saw what happened with Robinhood recently. I hope everybody's in common with that. I think regulators need to be, first of all, clear and predictable in order to gain trust from the community and the investor, in order to, I would say, make tokenization not great again, but great from the start. On the other hand, we need to be open to innovations, which I know it's hard to balance, the thing, safety and innovations. It's very hard. We were witnessing two different approaches worldwide regarding regulations. Okay, we have the wait-and-see approach, which is, I would say, safer maybe, like Europe. You can over-regulate and then wait and see what will happen. On the other hand, you have more flexible, I would say, jurisdictions like Singapore, for example, or Switzerland, where you don't stiff innovation at the start, So basically, in Serbia, we had that privilege to not go by the rules, because actually we rendered our law on digital assets way before MiCA legislation, which is very interesting. In 2020, actually, we started implementing it in 2021. So basically, we had the freedom to make our own rules. So I think the most, I would say, best approach when you have that freedom is to make your legislation flexible and predictable, and in that way you can open up the trust from the market in your product. So I think Serbia did it in a good way, but and again a disclaimer: we had the freedom to do it like that. So back to your question, the first premise is predictability, and I would say early engagement with all the relevant stakeholders in order to make a legislation familiar and safe for them.
And flexibility to a certain extent, right?
Of course.
Bernhard, you work closely with banks and asset managers. In your opinion, what's like the biggest internal barrier still holding institutions back from adopting tokenization on a larger scale?
Yeah. So when you look back, and what was holding them back over the last years, I will start from here and then coming to what's happening now. So when you look back a couple of years, first, they were afraid because they figured already that it might be a competitor. Then second, they looked into the regulation, and some regulation back in the days, you said 2021, which is great. In Europe, we were not that fortunate. MiCA was not there. It wasn't harmonized, at least the regulation across Europe. Many areas were not covered, like 7 years, 8 years back. So then they said, well, it's a competitor, it's in a gray area, we're not touching it. And third, the argument was then, are our clients waiting for this? Mm-hmm. And, well, many clients were not waiting for this, but as long as clients paid the normal fees, nothing happened. Yeah? So these were the three arguments back in the days. A lot have changed now, and how innovation is happening is very often with something like a flywheel or a positive spiral. So when a couple of clients start asking for a cheaper product, well, the same product, but in a cheaper way, then the first banks will provide the product. then more will figure out, hey, there's a cheaper possibility. And the more banks need to jump on the topic, need to provide the service as well. So when this starts, and this started already for stablecoins definitely, and for tokenization, let's see, we are on the tipping point, I would say, because it started already with money market funds a little. But I think that the demand is here now, the regulation is here now, and the banks still consider this as competitors, but they have no choice at the moment. So all the three dimensions that I just named from back in the days disappeared, and product per product, we will see adoption now from the client, but also from the larger organizations.
Okay, thank you, Bernhard. Sima, when companies expand to different jurisdictions and so on, they see a lot of compliance issues, right? You're from Turkey,
yes.
right? Which is a non-EU country. Turkish companies expanding in European countries, you see obviously a lot of compliance traps. Like, what's the biggest type of traps you see?
Yes, I'm a lawyer in Turkey, but we have a law office also in United States, but also we consulting some global exchange in global. We are consulting for global operation, and we help them how they can get licensed with another jurisdiction. And sometimes it can be like Europe and Dubai and Singapore, which has regulation already. So as you see, like where we actually focus on which country has regulation. And my clients are focused on if they have regulation, then they wants to go there and get license. If there is no regulations, they don't want to go this country. So
I mean, who doesn't have regulation? Everybody has it, right?
Yeah, just 5 years ago, there wasn't no regulations, nowhere. When I start in this, like as a lawyer, 2017, I remember, like we kind of maybe in bank system, banker is not a long time, but for crypto is like, I feel like old and OG for this sector. So when I was attended kind of this event, there is no words about regulations. And as a participant, as a lawyer, they say, why you are here? they ask me that nobody wants to understand legal aspect. So then after overall, like countries and understand how is this technology, and unfortunately banks, sorry, but I don't still like banks. And then, so I want to startups and then like crypto origin companies built and into this sector. So basically it's hard to say, and right now is more clients, and my clients are focusing like clear transparency and sustainability regulations, and it's like mostly they don't want to be gray zone because it's so much headaches. So yeah, this is like focusing is regulations that is much more for them, is much more safe zone, I can say.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Anina, let's get a little bit more specific and get back to your time before you went on the dark side, right?
Actually,
so,
maybe that was the dark side, and now it's the bright. I'm not sure.
Okay.
White side.
Yeah.
I would say that investor protection is central with the public trust. So could you share with us an example where regulatory oversight helped to prevent maybe even a catastrophe of some kind on the market regarding tokenization?
I always like to speak from something I'm familiar with, something from my experience. I would say my motto personally is prevention is better than the cure. So in this context, meaning early engagement with token issuers in Serbia. In that way, you can actually analyze some projects at the beginning and modify or even block those that are potentially risky for investors. For example, in Serbia, the issuance of white paper isn't obligatory. It's just a good, I would say, a goodwill of the issuer of the token. Of course, that has its implications in meaning that you cannot advertise your digital tokens if you don't have the white paper. So basically, if you want to issue tokens or tokenize something, you must go to the Securities Commission for approval. So in that regards, when analyzing the project, we can always see if something's wrong and just we don't give an approval for that. So I think we should rather focus on that primary part rather than to go directly to the punishments. In Serbia, we didn't have any experience regarding some risky projects at the end. But of course, that's actually because we have made a safeguard at the beginning. We have a threshold of 3 million for the issuance of tokenized financial instrument. Actually, I didn't explain that. Serbia is one of the rare regulatory frameworks that allows direct tokenization of financial instruments. So basically, 9 out of 10 white papers that we have approved are digital bonds, actually. Mm-hmm. So in that regards, we have some experience regarding that area. But regarding some, I would say, risky projects and stuff, we didn't have it in our practice until now. Hopefully, it won't be in the future like that also.
Yeah. Bernhard, from your client work, where have you seen tokenization deliver real business value, and not just pilots, not just proofs of concept, and what made those cases specifically successful?
Yeah, it's a perfect question and really spot on, because many companies and banks sell to the shareholders or to the public that their little pilot where 3 people are playing around with blockchain was a major success. Well, it was not. It might have burned some money and that's it. So I would say 3 products, definitely tokenized money, aka stablecoins, yeah, number 1. And I just let some numbers speak here, yeah, to be fair. So number 1, tokenized money / stablecoins. Number 2, tokenized money market funds. This already picked up as well. And number 3 is either, let's say, tokenized deposits, but it's close to stablecoins anyway, or let's say some niche products, tokenized real-world assets, some collectibles, some back in the days NFTs. So, but this is a broad variety. I mean, it's a broad area. I mean, you can say tokenized Pokemon cards. Many Pokemon cards are tokenized, but that's it. Yeah, and there are tokenized sneakers, tokenized wine, and so. But the entire area of, let's say, tokenized collectibles, yeah, is also at least showing, in terms of numbers, that is successful, and in terms of using tokenization for bringing something to market that was not there before. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mentioned in Serbia we have 10 approved white papers, 9 were tokenized bonds, and 1 is actually a tokenized wine collection, a utility token. Yeah. 1 token representing 1 bottle of wine, which is, I think, great for marketing purposes. And I would say I like wine, so that's my favorite token, actually.
Okay, Sima, how does MiCA fit into all of this? I mean, different countries, different interpretations. Yeah. What's your standpoint on that?
Actually, I say MiCA.
MiCA, okay.
MiCA, as someone says, I mean, so MiCA actually is great to start because it's have their own language for all European Union countries. If you get license any single European countries, it's all affect all the European Union countries. So MiCA has a framework regulation, and MiCA has their own language, but also country has their own accent. So locally, in local jurisdiction is startups or like all the company must understand local accent, how it affects their regulation aspect. So it's not only following MiCA framework is not enough. So they should follow their the specific jurisdictions regulation and understand the environment. So, for example, some country as capital marketing board give license. Some of them is central bank in charge of for exchange. Let's say some country is thinks some tokens are security, some tokens are utility. So if you think like your token are utility, is not means that every country thinks they are utility. So it can be breach other countries' regulation. So always, as a lawyer, we say, it's super boring. I know it's not exciting, but it's safe zone. So please hire a good lawyer before launching your project. So I saw so many startups struggling their project. They do website, they have building teams, and they write like 100 pages of white papers, but most of tokens are not applying right regulations. So that's why they need a guide. They need to be guided to an earlier stage, and then understand each country's regulation as well. So for example, non-Europe country as a Turkey and Serbia, we have definitely different regulations. And of course, we need to following some FATF rules, financial rules, but we have our own specific language. So definitely they must understand local environment and aspect and everything. So, and it will be much easier for them.
Anina, do you see this regulatory alignment happening in the Balkans or in maybe Southeastern Europe?
Actually, that's a hot topic now. That's the thing we didn't have, as we were speaking at the beginning in Serbia when we were rendering our law. We didn't have to align with anything. Now, actually, regarding Serbia, because we're in the accession period with the European Union, of course, we will need to align our legislation with the MiCA. But if we're speaking about our region, about the Western Balkans, okay, I think harmonization is ongoing, but it's not going to happen overnight. It will take time and clarity, and I would say cooperation between the states not states like the United States, the European states, in order to make that transition, I would say, less painful. But I think it's going to happen in some point. But you know what? We don't need for the rules to be the same. They just need to comply with each other. So I think in the next period, it's going to be interesting in seeing what the countries are going to do in regards of the alignment with the MiCA regulation, if you're speaking about the European Union.
I mean, in all the industries, it's always that regulators are a step or two behind the market.
It's not like that always. I think I'm always talking about my country, of course. If you have that open dialogue, which we were talking about, you don't need to be a step behind. So actually, when we were rendering our legislation, we were heavily talking with the industry, as our colleagues know. So we were trying to be proactive and make the legislation frame, I would say, predictable for them. So I think the alignment is here, it's coming, but it's not the alignment we're talking about. The rules, I think they're not going to be the same, but they're going to be compatible. And okay, that's the point, I think, of the actual alignment in this area.
Bernhard, what needs to happen for a stronger institutional adoption?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we always talk about crypto adoption for massive people from the street, like everyone. But and on other side, crypto is adoption right now, regulation adoption. So it's like, you know, both sides. We try to into the crypto people to the regulation adoption. But on the other side, we try to involve the massive people to crypto adoption. For example, yesterday I was in Uber, and driver is, when he learned I am attending a crypto event, he say, oh, it's a young guy, you know, like he say, oh, I do some trading, but could you please tell me, this is trustful? You know, it is real or not? I see like his centralized exchange. I say, I know the exchange. I say, yes, no problem. He said, okay, I have money. I didn't know that. And then like I realized that we still have time for that. You know, I was thinking like every young people, because we are in crypto space, I thought everyone knows crypto, but actually no, they don't know, and they still have so many questions. And I believe if this regulation settle down, if everybody understand this is like safe zone, I believe it will be many people involved in crypto. We just started. It just, you know, like it will be boom, you know. In Turkey, as I can tell you, 25 million people, crypto investor. And right now we have more than 50 crypto exchange try to get license. And we are youngest country in the Europe, and everybody just talking about crypto. And it's because of Turkish lira value. I don't want to talk that much.
Hyperinflation.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's paying for inflation. So this is also another topic. This is actually, that's why crypto is really important. Like Satoshi Nakamoto's philosophy is actually come true in Turkey. If you cannot control central things like inflation and other things, you can keep your money safe zone in crypto. So this is really good example. I don't know government like it or not, but this is good for people.
Okay, Bernhard, basically the same question for you. If we want stronger institutional adoption, do we need more regulatory clarity or more a business incentive?
So the quick answer to this is it needs.
Why not both?
Yeah, exactly. But the quick answer to this is you need time and patience, especially for institutional adoptions, period. Yeah.
Okay.
The retail adoption is there, more or less. Look at Turkey, for instance, a good example. We have nowadays more wallets out there than portfolios. So the retail, people wants this. Yeah. Also, when you look at Theta, I mean, how could it be that Theta earned last year the similar amount of money than Goldman Sachs, but with a fractional amount of people? Yeah. So the demand is there from the people. From the institutional side, traditional banks, it just takes a while, yeah, and be patient, give them some more years, then we have all these offerings out there from your bank that you have already on your phone or on your, across the corner where you live as well, yeah, so the typical crypto products.
But when we compare like the European Union and the US regarding tokenization, so we have MiCA here and we have a Genius Act in America, which is like a lot stronger.
And they have Trump.
Yeah, and they have Trump. Like, Genius is like a big, much bigger push to tokenization, right?
And not only push, I would say Genius Act is also to use the technology for their own purpose. So when you look at stablecoins in the Genius Act, they use stablecoins and this new technology to fund the United States, especially by, well, the global population. I mean, they use the crypto regulation as a tool. In Europe, we have a solid regulation and, you know, companies, especially banks, like it as well, to be frank. Yeah, I know that the crypto natives are like, man, it's a little bit too hard, it's a little bit too strong, it's a little bit this and that. Sure, I totally get this. I'm a crypto native myself. But in terms of banks or traditional companies, they like it quite a lot. And the key is as well for adoption, the regulatory clarity. Unless you don't have this, an institution will not go into this country.
A couple of months ago, I was doing an interview with a Croatian representative of the European Regulatory Council, and I asked him, like, what do you think of the Genius Act? Like, will we ever have that in Europe? And he's like, not in a million years. I would never support Genius Act or something like that in Europe. So, Anina, what do you think?
I think those are totally different, not jurisdictions, mindsets. And as Sima said, we don't have Trump here, but maybe in some future we will have some other Trump-like guy to support innovation in that way. So I think the key is to be friends with innovation. And I think the European Union is trying to, I would say, be a perfect safeguard, and that doesn't exist. You know, you need to let innovation in so you can flourish together. So I think, again, coming back to Serbia, in emerging countries like our country, you know, I'm seeing all talks about the Genius Act, MiCA, and we're like, okay, there is Serbia, we don't have anything. So we should embrace those innovations, and maybe the thing that Micha was talking about, I think countries with underdeveloped capital markets and smaller economies can take use of tokenization in a greater way, and the fact that we don't have MiCA and then we don't have Genius Act, of course, is our benefit. It's not like a tail that we should cut off. It's our benefit, and we should go forward without those limitations. So, and when the limitations come, okay, we'll play by those rules.
Okay, but what could be like the lessons learned for other emerging markets that can be learned from the Serbian
Just
example?
that, the thing that I said, okay, you have on one side the capital markets, which are underdeveloped. In Serbia, that's, I think, an understatement because they're dead. On the other hand, you have new and innovative technologies. You have, like Sima said, younger people who are keen in investing in something like that. You know, people often confuse when you say crypto, they only think about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and stuff, but tokenization is actually a great mean for investors to get to the markets, to place their assets, I would say, in another place other than, I don't know, bank deposits or some, I would say, classical means of investing. On the other hand, I think tokenization, again, speaking for our experience, is great for financing some little enterprises or even bigger ones at some point. So I think it's a win-win situation for small economies. On one hand, to, I would say, give investment opportunities to people which are eager for that. On the other hand, you enable access to capitals to some entities that are in principle unbankable maybe. So it's good for both sides, the demand and the supply side.
Okay, Bernhard, a glimpse into the future. Looking ahead, which asset classes or which financial products do you expect to become fully tokenized first?
Yeah. So first, fully tokenized products will be wholesale banking products, I would say, because of efficiency and because you don't have such a hard time to convince all your clients because you ask for full adoption. The second will be then traditional banking products, but here we'll see that you have two ways. You have maybe a traditional way and a way on chain. Yeah? So there will be a portfolio and a wallet for a couple of decades in parallel. Yeah? And the third, I would say that many, let's say, tickets or loyalty points or all the things that we have on our phone anyway already, yeah? The miles and more points, for instance, or again, the ticket when I fly or the ticket when I go to a stadium or so, those are actually assets that you have. Yeah. And these assets have sometimes no legal representation. What is a miles and more point? I mean, it buys me something. It buys me a flight. It buys me some perfume when I go to their shop or whatever they have. So, but what is it from a legal point of view? And it also brings some advantages for the loyalty point provider, because then they know more about the clients. They know when someone is transferring a point or a ticket to someone else. Yeah? So I think these three are the first ones.
Okay. Okay.
Sima, I want to add something. Yeah, sure. Institutions super important for crypto adoption. I think I don't like banks, but they are important. But also for futuristic aspects, everybody will have their own tokenization. Like now we are using different token, like majority token, right? We invest them. But people will have their own token because everybody right now try to earn money from social media. They have account, they have credit, you know. For example, if I have subscription, if I am influencer, they give me the money, but it will be changed. It will be tokenization system. It will be built by crypto. So, you know, like maybe you will have, I will have, and then people, I don't know, it looks like which is the like, how is the dark? No, Black Mirror.
Black Mirror series,
Black Mirror. Unfortunately, I'm afraid, but it will be like that. Like people will just credit their tokens, and every individually will have tokens. I don't know when, 10 years, 20 years, or 5 years, but it will be super making adoption, and then people understand this is profit because you can define your own token, you can follow your token, and this is what is future it will be. It will be booming. I don't know.
Black Mirror has some strange episodes, so I hope we don't end in one of the bad ones.
But we still like so many episodes already been. Yeah, so I don't know.
Guys, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was that from us. Our time is limited, I'm afraid. So thank you, and thank you for this panel discussion.
Thank you.